Because if I'm not...
I think the gym will be good for both of us. And,
especially because we can put the treadmill up. You want this. You wanted this. Here I am. So officially we have met.
A year ago
yesterday. I'm
going to offer you a challenge.
Oh, no.
Not for you.
Not for me, but you're offering me a challenge? That makes no sense.
Can I finish?
Yes.
I need you to stop me when you see me going above and beyond, or my emotions are being more than they should be.
Don't
my
I usually?
Reaction. You usually do. But then we need to talk about it after I'm calm again. Be like, okay, what's the story? I don't know.
Exactly, because I never know. Because when I do mention it, when I looked over at you earlier, I was like...
And then we talked about it after he went upstairs.
Okay.
Because I put in exactly what I told him into his phone, and it worked.
Okay.
So he's not listening to me.
So what we also need to work on is patience with you.
Oh, I have none of that.
You have none whatsoever. I know.
Okay, so let's go back to our anniversary.
A year ago, yesterday, I met this woman.
I was drunk.
I was drunk. Sabrina was drunk.
I remember.
You said you didn't remember.
I remember at the very end of the night, but we're not going to go to that story.
I want to know it, because every time we talk about this story, you never want to finish it. Then we'll discuss it. Oh, no, you haven't. You mentioned it before. After we end this podcast, you'll tell me. So anyhow, are you going to write me a letter? Mm-hmm. Well, there is no pens down here. So then I don't know if I should even continue saying anything, because I don't know what you're going to be writing. So anyhow, a year ago we met, and I'm watching what she's okay. But you also know that this was so you could
So you could do that. That's what happened.
And then she wanted to do that.
She didn't, though. No, she didn't.
We shouldn't even be discussing this right now. Hilarity. So anyhow, I met this girl a year ago.
See how many changes a year could bring. I am in a completely different place. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I am taking care of my family by myself. And I feel very good about that. And that's why I'm going to keep this job.
A year ago, the first time that I saw you, we were both really drunk. At the end of the night, I was really drunk. And then too. I was stupid, and I drove, and I met up with somebody. And she made me pull over, and I got in the car with her. Yep. She was like, you're drunk. You're not supposed to be driving.
And that started a whole new story for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. A whole new relationship.
Yep.
And she's a liar.
Which happened, funnily. Isn't it weird that it happened on the same night you met me?
Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is she was a liar.
That was the funny thing?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I was like, red flag, talking to my friend. And I was like, this is what's happening. She hangs up the phone, but it's not really hung up because I hear her talking to her ex. And she's saying these things to her. She's like, well, maybe it's just a fluke. And she didn't really... but I'm like, if it happens more than once, it's not a fluke. So I've heard many conversations between her and her ex. She was telling lies. Like, all the way started from the first... Like, my cousin's wedding. I was on the phone with her. She was like, oh, she's upset that her cousin's getting married, and that's why I'm talking. Like, she was just feeding her these lies. And then, the day that her ex moved out, she invited me over and we fucked. She was full of lies the whole time. And I know she was playing both of us. Mm-hmm. And but all the conversations that she had with her ex was her saying that I needed her, which was not true. She was the one that was like, oh, she's abusive and she's abusive to my kids and like all this crazy shit. So she's a liar. If you're listening to this, you're a liar.
But it happened at the same time.
But it happened at the same time that I met this woman.
It's so funny because my relationship right before you didn't even start until December 22nd. I know that because I took the kids to see their dad.
We weren't official until... I don't even remember when we were official, but she was like... See, the thing about a person is if they tell you we can't make it official until after this date, they're usually fucking with two people at once. This is the second time that's happened to me. First time was with a chick. She was like, we can't make our official date before July 1st. And so we made it for July 4th. Because her ex, and then as soon as her ex found out, he flipped the lid, like fucking was crazy. And then now that happened again with this one where I was like, let's make this date for this date. And she was like, we can't make it for that date. It was because you're too busy fucking probably both of us. But the good news is that you were there for me.
At the end?
At the end.
Mm-hmm. Because
But
that's
we were
kind
just
of when
friends.
we started. We were just friends. I mean,
the reason why we started was because I was bitching about her.
Acquaintances.
I was bitching about her.
We
I
were
was like,
acquaintances. We weren't even friends.
I was like, women are mean, they're crazy, and then you're like, I would like to find out. So, you found out with me. Am I crazy? Am I mean?
You're emotional.
I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, another thing. This is another thing that pisses me off. So, this person that I was dating told me that I was too much of a woman.
I think a lot of people tell you that you're too much of a woman.
Because I look like a dude.
You're androgynous.
I'm androgynous. They were like, I didn't expect to fucking be with somebody that had feelings. I'm like, I'm still a fucking female just because I fucking look the way that I do.
They have judgments. They're
they
judgmental.
do. But guess what? That person is dating a dude now.
Yeah.
If you want to fucking be with a dude, be with a dude. Don't date a female.
It is completely different. It's black and white. It's so completely... A relationship with you has been 100% different than any relationship I've ever had with a man.
Yeah, because I'm a girl.
I know. And I respect that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I like
and I
being a
appreciate
girl.
it.
And I like boobs. And I like vaginas.
I know.
And I like to have one myself sometimes because the PMDD, I'm like, fuck this shit. Because I don't know what's going on, so...
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just different because all of a sudden I'm having all these emotions thrown at me and I'm like, okay, I have to navigate these waters in a different way than I would normally. And then you say, you don't have any emotions about that. What, are you a fucking dude? And I'm like, no, but this is what I'm used to, so this is how I deal with it. And it happens.
I don't know how but you have no emotion at all sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's not even about being a dude or being a female. It has to do with you don't have any emotions at all.
Sorry.
But you did when we first started talking.
That's my depression coming out. My depression steals my emotions away.
How do we fix that?
I've been very depressed recently.
How do we fix that?
You're going to have to wait until after the holidays and then we'll talk.
No, that's not how life works. You can't be, I'm going to shut off my emotions to the people that I love the most because I have other things going on in my life.
That is
Depression
not what it
hurts.
is.
Remember those commercials?
That is not
Depression
what it is.
hurts everybody around you.
It is, I am turning off my emotions so that I don't emotionally vomit
Emotionally,
on everybody that I know.
Bring it.
For the next 2.5 months,
Bring
including
it.
my children.
Bring that emotional
Do you
fucking
understand how hard this holiday season is going to be for me?
Yes, bring it. I'm your fucking wife. Almost.
And this is the first year that I'm going to be without a family.
You're not without a family.
I'm without my family.
You're not without your family. This is why you need to go to therapy to discuss these things through because you have a family. You have a family.
I have
me
my kids.
And the little fucks upstairs.
I know.
And that dog and all these
And your
fucking
parents
cats
have
and my
accepted
family.
me and loved me
It's not the same, I understand.
It's not the same, but I miss my mom.
Text her.
She won't answer me.
Then fuck her. I'm a little buzzed.
That's why it's going to be hard for me. That's why it's going to hurt.
I understand.
That's why I'm turning it off, because I don't want to feel.
You need to have emotions. You need to feel. You're human.
But I am depressed and I need to work through it with a therapist, and I have not been able to get to a therapist yet. And I need to. And I was thinking about, like, joining that, whatever, BetterHelp thing on my phone so that I could just text somebody and I don't have to visit them. That might work.
Well, that will work because everything that I tell you, somebody else can tell you, and then you fucking, okay, I'll listen to them. They said it. And I'm like, that's exactly what I said. Because something like that just happened this morning.
Well, that's why I read Brene Brown every day.
That's something like that happened this morning, and I forget. And I was like, I'm totally fucking going to write a book. Or it was yesterday morning. Because I said something to her a while ago, and then she was like, you know what? So-and-so said this. And it was something that she's reading, and I'm like... And usually I say that to you. I said that to you.
I know.
But now I have stopped.
We went and saw Elizabeth Gilbert, and that's what she said. She said, Amanda, I've said everything that she said in that talk. I'm like...
But it takes somebody else to say something to somebody.
That's what happens when you're close to somebody. When it's somebody who's as close to me as you are, it's like I recognize and I accept your advice, but I'm going to find confirmation. Sounds really
everybody
awful.
else, not you, bitch.
I am sorry.
I'm sorry. I've been around the fucking block. I know things. I
know things too.
And I know you do.
I know you do.
Oh, I know you do. But anyhow, I'm gonna fucking write a book about this shit. Mm-hmm. I decided actually yesterday morning, or
you're gonna write a book yesterday? About how I never listened to you.
Yes,
you
that was the starting. Not that I know everything. I do know a lot, and that's the one thing that pisses me off. Because here's my baggage. Since I was little, I knew I was intelligent. I read a lot. I fucking kept up to date. I would read the fucking newspaper with my daddy. So I knew things. And like, I know I have the intelligence that a lot of people don't. I went to a Catholic school that was like hardcore. And most of my knowledge is from those 8 years of elementary school, because when I went to high school I didn't learn shit. When I went to college I didn't learn shit. Everything that I learned in 8 years out of a parochial school. So at that parochial school, the bitches in class, I don't know, they're friends on my Facebook now, but you know what, you guys can talk about God all you want, but you guys are still assholes, especially one of them. I'm not gonna even say which one. So anyway, like, I would be like, you know, I read this story in the newspaper. And then the girls would be like, oh, that's fake. And then I'm like, no, I read this story in the newspaper. Then they raise their hand and be like, Teresa said she read this. Teresa says this. And the teacher would be like, oh, that's not true. And I'm like, I read this in the newspaper. Like, so ever since I was younger, I would get told that everything that they said had no substance.
You know I'm not saying that to you, right?
I don't even know where I'm going with this, because I've drank almost a fucking full bottle of wine right now.
No, you've drank like 2 glasses.
Yes. On an empty stomach.
You are very smart.
Thank you.
And I
where was I going with this?
I don't know. You want to write a book.
Yes. So the things that I tell you, I do know about. I've done a lot of research.
That you know.
I am full of useless information that if I'm not going to say anything to you about it, I wouldn't say anything because I don't know anything.
You are the love of my life. I'm going to marry you. I'm going to be with you for the rest of my fucking life. Do you understand me? And it is not because you're dumb. And it's not because you don't know anything. And it's not because you just go with the grain. It's because you challenge me and you fight with me. And that you're probably right. And sometimes, yeah, I might need to hear it from somebody else too. But that doesn't negate the fact that you were right first.
Hey.
What?
I need more of this. Right there. I need more of that. Keep her out. Don't let her go back in a shell.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. I love you. You're the love of my life. I'm going to fucking marry you and everything else.
All right. Just propose. You haven't done that yet.
You need to propose. Mm. There's a standoff here of who's going to propose first. So we'll see what happens. But, oh, it's the motorcycle or car outside.
No, it's somebody mowing the lawn.
Oh.
Say you're right, Amanda.
You're right, Amanda.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. That was mean. I just had to do it.